Is it time? Good day! Oh, or good evening, I should say. Is this better? No, that's way too bright. Hell no. We're turning that around. Hello, I'm Rain. Welcome to my channel where I discuss Fantasy Formula 1. But today we're not discussing Fantasy Formula 1, at least not yet, because we're going to watch. We're just going to watch some Formula 1. We're going to watch the sprint qualifying, see what happens, and then make our decisions. You know how it is. You know how it is. These sprint races are coming thick and fast. Cheers from Brazil. Oh, are you at the race? That would be insane. I'd love to go there sometime. But one race at a time. One race at a time. I'm going to Melbourne next year. The season premiere. I'll be there. So, oh, unfortunately not. That's too bad. That's too bad. Have you ever been? Have you ever been? I should probably get my... Nah, we can just sit and talk for a while. I'll get the stream up in a second. Let's get some people in here. Oh, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I can't wait. Have they added Bearman yet? No, they've not. Okay. Okay. Classic. There's gonna be some chaos. Because of the Bearman Magnussen situation. But surely if like Magnussen's sick, will he be fine tomorrow? Maybe he wants to drive, you know. He's in the running for the Sauber seat, so he really wants to prove himself. He really wants to prove himself. Bearman in for Magnussen or Hulk? Definitely don't do it yet. You need to wait and see tomorrow, because if Magnussen drives the quali and race tomorrow, so the quali tomorrow, and then the race on Sunday, then I would assume that both Magnussen and Bearman get slapped with fat -20s. You've done Singapore last year, doing Vegas this year? Damn! Oh my god, Vegas is gonna be sick. Vegas is gonna be sick. I wish I could go there, man. I wish I could go there. But there's a slight issue called money. Don't have infinite of that. But I am going to Australia next year, so I'm super excited about that. Thoughts on Verstappen? I don't think 5 spots is enough for the switch. I mean, the 5 spot definitely makes him more intriguing as an option, considering that he is also going to have a better engine, especially in the sprint. But I don't trust it, and he's also too difficult to get in my opinion, at least for me. Would you change Norris for Sainz to get Bottas out and Lawson in? I've thought about it for sure. It would be this for Sainz, right? And then this would be Lawson. I can't get Lawson. Unlucky. It would be Albon. It wouldn't be Lawson. It would be Albon. So I have thought about this, but Mercedes are looking decently fast. Again, I'm not gonna say anything about what transfers I'm gonna make until I've seen the quali, the sprint quali. I was hammered last week with double DNF. I'm thinking stick with dependable. I mean, will Albon and Yuki DNF again? Just go for it, man. I would stick. I'm considering running both. Like, if I downgrade any of these two assets, I'm likely looking to upgrade Bottas. I don't think I can afford the Bottas upgrade here. He's just too bad. I can get to Shogun Yu, but you know, do I really want to do that? I mean, Show has been way better than Bottas, to be fair, in terms of fantasy. Only because Bottas has not been awful in the actual races. So the one thing I'm kind of looking at is, are Mercedes in it? Because Russell showed some pace. And I mean, these sort of moves could definitely be intriguing. Am I cooking or am I smoking something? I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, gotta wait for qualifying. That's why we're here. That's why we're doing the stream. So what do you think? Predictions. Who's taking pole in the sprint? Let's do a Q&A. No, not Q&A. Let's do a poll. Quick little poll. Also, why is the chat above me not working? I'll have to look into that. Poll in SQ, question mark. Norris, Leclerc, Sainz. Piastri. I can't add more options. Unlucky. I'll just do Norris, Leclerc / Sainz. And then we'll do Max. And other. There we go. I want to see what you think. Let's try and see if I can fix the chats. Actually, we should go over to the dashboard screen because it's starting in like 7 minutes. Syncing. Wrong screen. Everything is messed up here. Yeah, this screen is very empty when nothing's working. We'll do dashboard, and then why are you not working? I don't know why the chat is not working. I'm trying to fix it, but I literally am not. It's not working. I guess I could just manually add it again. We'll redo it. Chat, question mark. There we go. That's so small. Let's do this. And just to move it back a bit. There we go. It's not perfect, but at least the chat's on the screen now. I have to fix it for the next screen as well, but I don't know why that wasn't working. I'd set up everything like it did, like I usually do, so it doesn't make any sense. And the link was correct. Anyway, let's ignore that. Let me open my stream. Not my stream, but the stream of the race, or the quali. Brazil Grand Prix. Fantastic. Well, someone's using my account. Be right back. Messaging. Oh, I'm totally not account sharing, by the way. This is there are people living in my house that are just using my stream. Well, this is unfortunate. The classic family drama. Someone's using my account. Don't forget to use the chips if you still have some chips. You don't need to use it yet. Definitely don't use it yet. Keep it for tomorrow. Keep it for the deadline stream. We're going to talk about all the chips and which chips look the best. I just need to try and fix this so I can actually watch. So I can actually watch the quality. All right, I got it. I can watch it now. I can watch it now. Saved. Yes. All right. Sorry for that slight bit of drama. That's classic. Who else thinks Lance Stroll is the most unpopular guy on the grid? I think everyone. I think that is a very popular opinion. But that's kind of the thing. Like, I would need. Does Lance Stroll deserve to go? I mean, he hasn't really beaten Alonso, but the car's also been bad. It's not like Perez, you know? Perez definitely does not deserve to still be in the car. And I haven't seen Lance Stroll suck enough to definitively say, yeah, this guy's gotta go. I don't know. I feel like you gotta have one Nepo driver in F1, otherwise it isn't true F1. That's how F1's always been, I guess. But no, I get people wanting him gone, but like, it's just not gonna happen. And I feel like it won't happen unless he like actually starts properly stinking the place up, like properly stinking the place up. All right, but the plan is, if you haven't been here before, the plan is we're gonna watch, chill out, you know, discuss what is happening in the qualifying, some live commentary, and then afterwards we're going to discuss like the actual implications of that sprint qualifying towards our F1 fantasy teams. This is my F1 fantasy team right now, but it's likely not going to be the same. Let's end the poll. A lot of people think Norris are gonna take it. I can see why. I think him more as a person. I mean, yeah, he as a person as well. But there are others that are, you know. But yeah, Lance Stroll is probably top of people's hate list. But as Camilo said, gotta wait for qualifying. You don't have to make your transfers now. You can wait until tomorrow. I'm doing a deadline stream tomorrow, so 2 hours before the deadline, I will be live here, this channel. So subscribe so you don't miss it. We're gonna talk properly about our teams then, but today we're gonna watch the sprint qualifying, and then we're going to do some reactions based on what happened. Which premium driver pair looks the best? Is there any must-haves, any must-owns? Which C-tier assets look the best? Basically, whoever stuffs up in the sprint qualifying or gets sprint pole is going to be on my radar. That's pretty much it. I won't be live for too long. Maybe 30 or so minutes after the race is concluded. The sprint quali has concluded. I'll talk about some stuff. And then I'll probably make a video, upload it on the channel, proper like a team selection video, which will be up later tonight or tomorrow morning. And then deadline stream tomorrow, as usual. Maybe even a quali watch along tomorrow night. So a lot of streams could be happening this day. Not really a fair discussion, I suppose. I mean, we don't know him. Like, he could be the sweetest guy ever when you're hanging out one-on-one with him, when you're his friend. But just because he's a multi-billionaire son, he does come off, you know, like a Lance Stroll. What's up? Good seeing you. Good seeing you too, Daniel. What's up? I started a new job today. That's what's up. Just part-time, need some extra cash. So doing that over November and December, helping out with some Christmas preparations and stuff. So with a restaurant chain in my area. Do you need to activate your 3x now or later? Later. Don't have to activate it until tomorrow. Good for you. Thank you. Going unemployed for a month wasn't that fun. Do not recommend it. I wasn't entirely unemployed, but I did not have a lot to do in October. I went from working every day in end of July, August to working like once a week. Yeah, not great. So got an extra part-time essentially, which is nice. Gotta earn the cash somehow. Gotta make the money somehow. Let's switch over to this screen so we can actually, you know, not this one. Here we go. And of course, this is not working. We'll add the chat here again. This one. Let's just do a bit of this and a bit of that. Something like this. There we go. Now we can see what's happening. What is scary with sprint qualifying is that usually they only have time for one run. But I would imagine they have time for two because the track is not that long. Hence why literally everyone's out on track. This is the first time I play. My league has 20 plus people. I'm 4th all thanks to you and your videos. Hey man, that's great. Do you have any chance of winning, or you have the people in front of you pulled ahead? I would love to know where people are at in their local mini leagues. I'm super top of my local mini league. That's not barely even a competition anymore. Long time watcher, first time poster. I'm in a right pickle. I've got 124.3 million, but only 2 transfers in my lineup: Norris, Leclerc, Ocon, Hulkenberg, and Colapinto, McLaren, and Haas. Yeah, it looked great, and then Haas popped up. You know. I would say, consider. Oh yeah, you only have 2 transfers, and you don't have your wild card. You're definitely in a pickle. You need Ferrari back. Yes, you do. I mean, to be fair, I have discussed this before, that the one time where you can maybe get away with running a C-tier constructor are sprint races, sprint weekends. Like, that's the only time it's ever even remotely theoretically possible. The problem then is that you have Haas. And if Behrman and Magnussen split it, you might be looking at a fat -40 for not featuring in the race. 20 for Behrman, 20 for Hulk. Or 20 for Behrman, 20 for Mag. So if Magnussen is back fit tomorrow, you have to transfer Haas out. But you could maybe get away with running Williams for one day. Maybe. You got 3,900 points, and the first one's 4,400. Ooh, that is tough. Yeah, that you're not catching number one. I'm sorry to say, you're not catching number one. Why is the? I feel like my camera is kind of not working properly, but whatever. Yeah. You're not catching that. I'm sorry, man. Oh, I just also sorry that I hit my mic. But maybe you can catch second place. That's definitely possible. Awesome. Thanks for your feedback. Yeah, no problem, man. No problem. Other than that, I think the main thing is, like, if you want to get Ferrari back, you kind of have to just shoulder a -10 at least. And likely you gotta have to. Oh no, but you probably have to take like a -20 to get Ferrari back. Ooh, that is, yeah. I would probably take the risk. Realistically, Hellcats. Realistically, try and, like, if Haas is a fine option if Behrman drives the entire weekend, and then I would prepare to get Ferrari back for Vegas. So I would do, even though it's a super unattractive move, you kind of have to do it to prepare for a 3 transfer run next week. I would, like, sell Ocon for, like, Bottas. And I know that stinks. Like, that stinks so bad. But with your budget, to get Ferrari back in, you kind of have to run Bottas anyway. With that way, like, selling Ocon for Bottas now means you free up funds. And then next weekend in Las Vegas, you can then sell, like, Leclerc, Hulk, and Haas to Russell, Show, or Albon, plus Ferrari. That's maybe kind of what you gotta do. So I would say probably Ocon is the least important of your expensive C tiers, because, like, Hulkenberg can still give you points. I don't think Ocon's gonna be that great. So I would, even though it looks like super unattractive, just so you have to take less negatives in the future, you do Ocon to, like, Bottas. And I know that stinks, but just it's kind of what you have to do if you want to get Ferrari back. You sell final fix, no negative, and autopilot. Any suggestion on how to use them? I would definitely use no negative or autopilot today. Or not today, but tomorrow for this race. But probably no negative, because no negative is just better than autopilot. I would almost, like 99% use no negative in Brazil. And then you autopilot autopilot you can pop whenever, as long as you have two good drivers. And then the final fix, you just gotta wait and see based on qualifying results. But I will say the final fix could be good to have in Qatar. So, but with the second with the two Ferrari. Even if you have the two Ferrari, like, no negative is so good here because, like, one of your back markers could. But that's why I mean, like, no negative is better than autopilot. I haven't really looked at qualifying at all, I'm gonna be honest. But I'm assuming everyone's doing another run, so it didn't really matter initially. Piastri top, Leclerc, Hulk is third, man. Hello, Clyde. Just got autopilot left. Should I use it here in Qatar? I would definitely use it here, Camilo. Definitely here. Cannot miss this one, indeed. So I'll put my stream up so I can actually watch what's happening. All right. Hulkenberg being third is kind of impressive. So that's what I mean, Hellcat. You can kind of get away with running, maybe get away with running Haas this race if Behrman. That's the problem with your team, is that if Haas were just a normal Haas, it would be fine for this race. But like specifically because of the Behrman Magnussen situation, you might be forced to sell Haas. And in that case, what can you do? I still have to recover from Tsunoda album double stinker. Ooh, well, I think they could be good today or like in this weekend. So, what are the odds that they mess up again? I guess. Is it going to rain, by the way? If it rains, like, nothing will change on track. It's looking a bit damp, I will say. I got Bottas showing Colapinto. Damn. I mean, that's fine. You want Colapinto to be lost. Colapinto lost is fantastic for F1 Fantasy. And really, like, you want Bottas showing Colapinto to be 17, 18, like 18, 19, 20. That's better. Forecast as rain in race. Yeah, and tomorrow. But we'll see if it actually pans out that way. I would love some rain. Let me preface this. If you haven't seen my content throughout the week, I made some shorts about it too. By the way, I would love some feedback on the shorts and the TikToks I've posted, because I feel like I should do some shorts and TikTok content, but I'm so bad at it. I'm trying to do a new style of thing, but I'm really bad at editing, like flashy edits on short formats. I'm better when it comes to long-term content. So if you like that stuff, then let me know. But essentially, with the wet, if it's raining, that really boosts the prospect of autopilot and no negative chips specifically. The 3x and limitless are already, like, they're always good in a sprint race, but specifically no negative and autopilot got way better in terms of, they got way better because of the weather. And I think if you have any chips remaining, you should use it here in Brazil. Apart from if you're like maybe only stuck with wildcard, because you don't have to wildcard unless you have to, right? But I think every chip could be valuable this weekend. I think Final Fix could also be really valuable after the main qualifying. So after Sunday evening, we can look and see if there's a good Final Fix option. Perez is second. That's a comeback. Yeah, it's quite a significant track evolution here. Let's see who's the next one to set a time. Bottas is starting his lap now. Here comes Tsunoda finishing his lap. And he is only 12th. Norris. Oh, Norris is starting his run now. Albon. Leclerc goes up to second. Albon is starting his lap now. Yeah, Albon's the last one to start it. Colapinto. Is Colapinto just out? No, Colapinto started his lap as well. I think Colapinto managed to... Oh, Colapinto just made it by like 1 second. Show's gone already. Stroll is 15th, so likely gone. Bearman 5th. Fantastic. Gasly 11th, above Alonso, pushes Stroll out. I think Tsunoda might be out here if Ocon improves. Tsunoda is gone. Yep, but only 15th for Ocon. So Bottas could do a very funny thing here. Bottas does the very funny thing, but it's bad for us Bottas owners once again. Bottas is 13th. Norris... Oh my god, that's a time from Norris. Yikes. Alright, here comes Colapinto. Does he send Albon out? That would be a statement if... Actually, Albon is... Oh, never mind. Albon's third. Ocon's out. Is Alonso out? Colapinto... Yep. Alright. Alonso, Ocon, Tsunoda, Stroll, Show out. Bottas through. That's not good. I might want to get Show Guan Yu back in. Everyone buy Norris? Yeah. I'm not selling Norris. Ain't no way I'm selling Norris. Am I getting Piastri in there? Hey, man. Hamilton only 13th. Russell only 10th. Show's 2 seconds slower than the next car. But I'm thinking of buying him because, like, Bottas is 15th or better, which is awful for F1 Fantasy. Why is it good if they qualify 17, 18, 19? Because they can get more overtakes. And if someone DNFs, they increase in positions. Like, going from 12th, starting 12th position, means, like, there's more faster cars ahead of you than, like, slow cars ahead of you, right? So, oftentimes, we like to say that P11 is the worst place to start in F1 Fantasy. Because if you start P11, likely you only have fast cars ahead of you, which means you can't overtake. Maybe you can get up to P10, but you're more likely to fall back to P13 than you are to climb upwards because the cars into, we have the Formula A of McLaren, Ferrari, Mercedes, and Red Bull. Like, they are usually the top 4 teams. So if you're P10, the best you can maybe do is a P9 finish, unless there are DNFs. So from P11 to P11, you get 0 points. From P20 to P17, because 3 people DNF, you get 3 points. So for your C tier bad assets, it's almost always better that they start last. Which is why I think Show is just infinitely better than Bottas right now in F1 Fantasy. And I mean, his latest points kind of prove it. I mean, so look at Bottas. Bottas qualifying, where did he qualify? Qualifying position 14th. He got total of 2 points. Qualifying position 18th. Total of 1 point. Qualifying position in Singapore, 19th, 3 points. Qualifying position in Azerbaijan, 17th, 1 point. Oh, 3 points. Let's look at Show, right? Let's look at Show Guan Yu. Qualifying, 20th, 7 points. Qualifying, 20th, 6 points. Qualifying, 20th, 6 points. Qualifying, 18th, 7 points. Qualifying 20th, 4 points. Like, qualifying 20th is just better. So, alright, Hamilton got a bad time because he got kind of blocked. Oh no, he just kind of snapped. You're making me think I should buy Show now? Man, like, it's just so unlucky. So I had Show, and then I sold Show to Bottas because Bottas got upgrades that made him, in my opinion, more likely to overtake cars. And suddenly Bottas is putting a P15 and is getting 1-3-1-2. Meanwhile, since I sold Show has gotten 7-6-6-7 and increased in 3 of those races. So it's been like, look at Show, 8.2 million. Meanwhile, Bottas is now the cheapest driver. He's cheaper than Colapinto at 6.9. It's tragic. You got a feeling Norris is gonna DNF this weekend? Don't say that. Won't lose position, has no reason to push. Yep. Landis is savage. Came out with all it to be a permanent fixture. Hello, man. With Norris Curtin, I think I can say goodbye to my Max Verstappen plan. I think you should say goodbye to that Max Verstappen plan as well. The question is, do I buy Piastri then? Or McLaren just goated here. If I do this, I think can I afford... Actually, if I sell Yuki to Albon, can I afford Show? No, I cannot. Unlucky, I'm stuck with Bottas. Tragic. So the only way to afford Shogun Yu here is to have Sainz. That's the only way I can afford that. Triple Big Mac kind of weekend? Yup. Is Ferrari better than Mercedes? I don't know, man. We ask this question every weekend, and suddenly Ferrari is 1-2ing it. Mercedes are useless. I don't know. Chip McLaren is so boring, it doesn't help differentiate the standings. I know. So I will say that for me personally, I'm top of my league that I want to be top of, right? So I just need to protect my rank, and I'm right now just looking to get as good of an overall score as possible. So my tips from now to the end of the season will be generally what I think has the highest likelihood to do well. But if you need to chase something, if you're P3 in the world and you want to get that P1 spot, and the person in P1 is playing it safe with triple McLaren, then you gotta play differential. And the same goes for your mini leagues. Like, if you want to catch the person at the top of your mini leagues, you have to play different to them. So try and pick the second best. I'm not saying you should like put the DRS boost on Hulkenberg, but I'm saying that maybe put the DRS boost on Sainz. Like, do the second best option. Get a Piastri in there instead of Norris, and hope Verstappen just dive bombs and sends them both out of the race. You know, things like that. If you still got the 3x with that team, how we would use it? It depends on if I have no negative or autopilot as well. Because of the rain in Brazil, I would be more tempted to use the autopilot or the no negative here, and then save the 3x for Qatar. But, I mean, since Norris is looking quite dominant here, I wouldn't mind, and especially since Max Verstappen is getting a 5-place grid penalty and can't ram into Norris, I would say using the 3x in this race, just slapping it on Norris, is probably going to do better than a lot of people did at Kota, because the McLarens just did not perform in Kota. And here it's looking like they're going to perform. DRS on Hulk. Someone in my mini league went 3x Verstappen, 2x Hulk in Austria, and Hulk's for 20x2, which is actually not that bad. Well, it was not that bad, but I mean, you want, ideally on a 3x, you want to try and get 40 points on both your drivers. That's like the goal. If you can get 40 points on both the 3x and the 2x, that's like the dream. And I failed on that. I only got 30 points on them. Wait, let me bring up F1 Fantasy. Yeah, I got... look, qualifying sprints. There we go. Yeah, I got 30 points on Piastri, on Norris, and 30 on Piastri. Meanwhile, if I had Leclerc, I would have gotten 50 more points. And that's only on the 2x. Sad day, sad day. Helmut Marko is not convinced after FP1. If Ferrari ran with the same amount of fuel as us, they would be very, very fast in the long runs again. Okay. No. Leclerc has been summoned to the stewards for swearing. That's funny. That is quite funny, I'm not gonna lie. 3x Norris? Yeah. Autopilot, I mean, if you have no negative, that's more tempting, but autopilot is one of those that you can just use whenever. It literally doesn't matter. Because there's a 50% chance that it's useless anyway. So, if you have 3x and autopilot, I would probably prioritize the 3x. I mean, you always prioritize the 3x, obviously, but like, you might be able to push the 3x forward. If the 3x looks really good for someone like a Norris here, you know. And if you still have your 3x racing, I would definitely consider 3xing Norris if he's this fast. But again, like, I'm talking about getting Shogun Yu in here for Bottas. That literally does not matter at the end of the day. I need to get the fastest two drivers. I might just do this and call it a day. Albon looks really good as well. Then again, Tsunoda did get eliminated, so he has some potential for overtakes, but I'd rather have Albon for the main race. Autopilot and 3x, Norris Sainz. Yeah, that looks fantastic, honestly. Like, 3x looks so good. If Norris is gonna dominate this weekend, I mean, at least on one lap pace, it's not even really close. Let's bring this back. Sainz is half a second off. Alright, Hamilton's slower than Gasly by quite some margin. Does he have time for another run? Perez looks not useless. Maybe he makes it to Q3 for once. Bottas is quite a bit slower than Hamilton. Verstappen loses 3/10 in the second sector to Norris. Hey, man. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. It's looking like a Norris kind of weekend. I take back what I just said with Perez not looking useless. He's still slower than Gasly. So I regret everything that I just said. But it's looking like the Red Bull are fast in the straight line speed and just not good in the corners at all. Because that first sector from Perez was decent. And then suddenly he's just slower than an Alpine. And if you're slower than an Alpine, you're going to be slower than the Williams. I can guarantee you that. But it looks like Norris is just a second faster than everyone today. Albon faster than Perez. Colapinto. Not that good. Okay. He's only 11th. Does Hamilton have time for another run? I think he does, right? Otherwise, he's definitely gone, because the Haas's are going to be fast. The Haas are only doing one run, by the way. Missed SQ1, who got knocked out. Double Aston Martin. Tsunoda, Ocon, and Show. Show was lost by like 2 seconds. Yeah, so Alonso 16th, Ocon 17th, Tsunoda 18th, Stroll 19th, Show 20th. Should I change Mercedes for Haas and go for 3 ADAR drivers? That is a move. I've talked about that before, that the only time where that's ever viable is a sprint weekend. But obviously, if Behrman only drives the sprint and then Magnussen only drives the race, then no, because that could incur penalties for both of them, and suddenly you can sit there with a -40. I haven't even really toyed with the idea. Let's see how fast the Haas are. They were like 5th and 6th, to be fair, in Q1. Show needs to go next year. So yeah, Show is truly tragic. Random question: what tool are you watching from? It's called F1 Dashboard. So just search that on Google and you'll find it. It's F1 dash and then the word dash.com slash dashboard. A lot of dashboard. Yeah, I love the live map too. This is something because it's not from the official F1 TV. It only uses data from there. I think you're allowed to stream this, but I've used this for a couple weeks now and I haven't been banned. So we'll see. All right. Here comes the Haas starting the run. I haven't even really experimented with getting Haas in. If Behrman drives the entire weekend, it's definitely interesting, especially if they are this fast, you know? And also, especially if Ferrari don't look to be that much better than Mercedes. In the Swedish-Scottish double upstream. We need a Swedish-Australian double upstream as well. I haven't done a double upstream yet. Could be fun. Maybe I'll do it for the end of the season. Invite some people on. We need to figure out a good way to do it, though. But it's definitely possible. Behrman, half a second slower than Norris. But that's like P4. Hulk's only 9th. Oh my god, Behrman's so good. What? He's faster than Russell. Alright. Hulk is probably out. Which is actually good for owners, I think. Here comes Lawson. 9th. Hulk's definitely out. Gasly's 8th. Dude, Gasly's been killing it in qualifying recently. Too bad that his car is so bad in the race pace that he's not an option for F1 Fantasy. But Gasly improves to P5, man. Gasly's been so good in qualifying recently. You gotta give it to him that he's been really outdriving the car in qualifying pace. Piastri 2nd. Can they still change the setup for quali tomorrow? I can't remember. I think they changed it so after the sprint you can make setup changes because you couldn't do that before. I think they can make setup changes between... You can't make setup changes from the sprint quali to the sprint, but I think you can make changes between the sprint and the regular qualifying. Hamilton's out. Hamilton is out. And Perez is out. Dude, just sack Perez, man. I'm so tired of him. Please, God. Behrman 7th, the GOAT. Alright, how do I get Haas in here? We still don't know if Behrman, if Behrman's price is reasonable. Can we get a Haas team in here? What can I do if I get Haas? 21 mil. I can't get Russell. Wait. What can I? Okay, if theoretically, I'm not saying I will do this, but theoretically, Hulk from 12th is kind of cooking. No, can't see past triple McLaren. Triple McLaren just looks so good, right? But that's what I mean. Like if I can, no, I can't even get McLaren. I can't even get Piastri in here alongside Leclerc. 23 million. It's not even Carlos Sainz. It's like I can get George Russell. That doesn't seem worth it to me. But I mean, triple McLaren looks bonkers. No. I just can't see. Like Haas is too expensive, man. Haas is 12 million. How do you fit that in? If I honestly, if I could do this and then click this and get Piastri in here, I would consider it. No joke, I would actually consider this. But I don't think this is viable. Unfortunately. Dude, Behrman's so good. Behrman's so good. Leclerc's better than Piastri? Does he? I guess he was only 9,000 away. I have enough budget for that move. Well, if you have enough budget for that move, you can probably do something better. I'm curious what price Bearman's at. I haven't kept up with it. I'm assuming he's decreased by 0.2 million every weekend, no? Since he was lost in the car. Hamilton and Checo out. Yeah, like if you have that budget, I mean, you just up like a Yuki from P18, man. Do I really want to get Albon in for Yuki when Yuki's starting P18 in the sprint? If anyone's getting overtakes, it's him, right? Ocon, Alonso, Bottas ahead of him. Colapinto 14th. Albon's 10th. That is an awful position for Albon, to be fair. I don't think I'm buying Albon. I think I'm sticking with Yuki. Checo's out again, dude. I cannot believe it. Tsunoda overtakes straight into a wall. Surely he doesn't do it again. To be fair, he does have quite a few DNFs. He has 4 DNFs this season. Three in the last 6. Alright. Thanks, FPL veteran. Thanks, man. See you around. Wouldn't they just put Bearman in the Magnussen price? No, Bearman has a separate price. We saw that already when he drove in Azerbaijan. It was 15 million. And then he increased by 0.1. And then he got lowered, I assume, because of the sergeant change by 0.2 like 3 times in a row. So he's like 14.5 million is my guess. I have 130.1 budgets. Norris, Leclerc, Sainz, Piastri, Russell, McLaren, or Ferrari. Or Ferrari and Williams or Haas. I just don't think it's Norris, Leclerc, Sainz, Piastri, Russell, McLaren, or Ferrari. I just don't think it's worth it with the C-tier constructor. I'm sorry. I'm really trying. Like I am like the one content creator that is trying so hard to find a good position to use a C-tier constructor, but I'm struggling, man. I can't find one. I just can't find one. It's just not worth it. I think Tsunoda's too frigging desperate to get the big job. Yeah, but I mean, he's also P18, so I mean, because of Autopilot, I mean, it would essentially kind of ensure that you do hit that 10-pointer driver of the day and winner of the race, right? Let me rethink it. Like, this is the team I could build if I went Haas, right? But I just think with the Autopilot, is Lando Norris just not gonna win? Like, Lando looks so fast. I think the problem with the like relying on the Autopilot is I would just rely on my Lando Norris intuition here. Leclerc plus Sainz or Norris plus Russell. Norris plus Russell. Norris look unstoppable. Like, Norris actually looks unstoppable for pole. So I would go for Norris. Norris plus everyone. Norris seems like the must-have this weekend. I know I'm boring, but I think I might just do this. You're in the top 100? Damn. That's impressive. I'm not, as you can see below. I'm struggling to get into the top 1K. Top 10K, I mean. Alright. What are we thinking? Who's taking pole? I think Norris is just definitely taking pole. These tires are incorrect, by the way. These should be softs. The main thing I'm actually curious about is not whether Norris takes pole or not, because I think he's taking pole. I'm more curious about the order of the C-tier assets. In my country, there's league, and winners is going to Abu Dhabi. Damn. I'm ahead 100 points, but second place of 3x. Ooh, yeah, you need that 3x to fail. So is it Lawson, Behrman, Gasly, Albon for the bottom 4 places? Maybe one of them can surprise higher. I mean, McLaren really need Piastri to just stick it on P2 so that Norris can win the sprints unimpeded. Slight mistake on Norris there. At the end of the second sector. Never mind, still purple. Oh no, that was Piastri actually. That was Piastri. That was Piastri making a slight mistake in... very, very slight. Wow. That's likely just good enough for pole. I don't see anyone going down below 109. That's so fast from Norris. He's really on it. That car looks disgusting. Is Red Bull reliable? No. I wouldn't touch Red Bull. Checo's too bad. I'm P2 in my private league, 10 points behind P1, but I have 3x and he doesn't. With my luck, I will 3x Norris and Verstappen will take him out in turn 1. Classic, dude. That will guaranteed happen, by the way. Last year, story time, while we're waiting for everyone to go out again. Last year, in F1 Fantasy, I wasn't making content, but I was really pushing for a good rank. I was like top 1.5k. So I was close to top 1k, and I was like really, really close. Now, what I didn't know was going to happen was that Kota was going to happen. And if you remember Kota, a certain Lewis Hamilton and a certain Charles Leclerc got disqualified. Now, the entire year, everyone had Aston Martin, Red Bull, right? Triple Aston Martin, triple Red Bull, plus like a Shogun U, right? And then when McLaren got good, everyone switched their Aston Martin assets to the super cheap McLaren because McLaren were super bad at the start of the season, right? So that's what everyone had. But for that Kota weekend, I thought Hamilton looked so good. Hamilton looked on it. So I sold Checo because I'd had Checo for some time. Obviously you sold Checo after a while, right? So I'd had Leclerc for a bit, and then I got Hamilton. So I got Hamilton in, and then I got Mercedes in. I'd had McLaren plus Red Bull for the entire time, but I sold Red Bull for Mercedes because Paris had been so bad. And I put 2x, instead of putting the 2x on Max, I put it on Hamilton because I thought Hamilton would get the driver of the day. And Hamilton did get driver of the day. So Hamilton was second place, driver of the day, fastest lap, he got everything, right? And then he got disqualified. So he went from like a 30-point haul to a negative 25-pointer. And with the 2x, that became a negative 50-pointer. And with McLaren, since I had Mercedes as well, like the constructor, I got put down another 25 points. So I lost 75. I lost 75 points, but in reality, I was on like 90, right? So I went from 90 plus to 75 minus. So it was almost a 200 point swing, and I went from top 1.5k to like top 20k. I went down like 15,000 positions, and then I stopped playing for the rest of the season. That's my story for the day. Story time. Albon's P3 in other news, but that's only because no one else has set a lap. But Albon is P3. Let's see. Gasly's faster than Albon. Behrman's better than Albon. Lawson's better than Albon. Behrman, track limit, unlucky. Behrman's lost. Or 10th. Sainz is 3rd. Leclerc splits the McLarens. Unlucky Piastri. Wait, he's coming with a new lap though. Here comes Piastri. Where's Norris? What's Norris's time? Piastri. Piastri goes top. Piastri goes top. I repeat. What's Norris's time? Show Norris. Norris is not improving. Piastri starting at first. Norris. No, Norris is not improving. Nope. Norris does not continue his lap. Here comes Max to ruin everything. Max Verstappen splits the Ferrari, but not more than that. And then Russell, 6th place behind Sainz. Okay. Gasly, best of the rest again, by the way. P6 or P7 for Gasly again in the qualifying. He's really good right now. Like, Gasly is the best he's been in that Alpine. Too bad that the car is so bad in the race pace you just can't get points from it. Gasly, Lawson, Albon, Behrman. Yeah, this is not a Haas or a Williams moment, I'm afraid. Piastri on sprint pole. Yeah, the McLaren looks really good. All right, let's discuss it. Let's discuss this. All right, Piastri's on SQ pole. Why is my, like, can my camera focus? There we go. So unfocused the entire time. Unlucky. All right, let's talk. Let's talk business. McLaren looks good. McLaren looks real good. Disgustingly so. I think I'm doing this. I think I'm sticking to 2x on Norris, even though Piastri's on pole, because I do think. All right, this is an okay. Here comes a question. Question for the chat. Let me tweet out first of all that we are still live. Discussing the SQ results. F1. Don't go anywhere. This is where the good part of the stream begins. Alright. Discussing the SQ results. Quick tweet outs. If you haven't yet, please like the stream. It would mean a lot to me. Whoops. That's not what I wanted to open. Yeah, if you haven't, please like the stream. Please subscribe if you haven't. We're doing a deadline stream tomorrow, so we're going to do more in-depth discussions then. but we're going to do some brief discussions now. Piastri knows. That is what I was going to ask, right? Here we go. Start a poll. If the MCL boys are 1-2 with 2 laps to go in the sprint, will they switch? If and Piastri is ahead, will they switch? Yes or no? Start poll. I'm really curious what you guys think. I'm really curious. Do you think if Piastri is leading the sprint and Norris is second with 2 laps to go of the sprint, do they switch them? Do they switch them? Because if so, papaya rules is out the window. I mean, surely they have to, right? They have to. They need, like, Norris needs every single point he can get. Surely they will switch. But that's what I mean. Like, I don't know. I would tell them to switch. But they're sitting there smoking some papaya rules, so I don't know. Verstappen P2 means yes. Oh no, Verstappen's going to drive right into Norris's gearbox into turn 1. No braking, just Bottas bowling. If they learn their lesson from last time, they will. That's that. I mean, it is an interesting question. It's an interesting question. The question then comes: should you use autopilot? I think, yeah. Discovery, I think one of the McLarens will crash. Oh my god, you can't say this, Dvala. You can't say this. Piastri's radio suddenly stopped working. Like, that's the thing, though. Imagine if they did that in the main race, like giving up one of Piastri's like proper wins. Spicy start with Verstappen by Norris. Dude, like the only reason, by the way, the only reason I would use the 2X, no, the 2X, the only reason I would use the autopilot when running double McLaren driver, because I do think Norris will outscore Piastri, because I think Norris will win over Piastri, and I think they will switch them so that Norris is ahead of Piastri if they are both 1-2. I think they will ensure Norris wins. So the 2X looks safer on Norris, obviously, but Max Verstappen is behind. And at least the autopilot can save me a Max Verstappen bowling moment. But Max Verstappen can also decide to go bowling next race in Vegas, you know? So there's always going to be a Max Verstappen bowling risk. And I think if I'm running double McLaren, I might not even autopilot. I'm going to be honest. I don't think they can do the whole season without a crash. Well, they did crash in Austria, to be fair. Brazil is the best place to make a crash. Oh, it's going to be Crashgate 2.0. Ay. Definitely autopilot, which could have been to be my top scorer of the double McLaren DNF. Classic. What happened to the Ferraris? No one lap pace, really, but apparently Helmut Marko, take that with a grain of salt, thinks that the Ferrari is going to be really fast in the fast pace. There's a lot of data we're missing, by the way. I can't wait to see all the long run data come out from F1 data analysis on Twitter. I'm tempted on 3X on Lando, but the rain puts me off. You've got no negative. If you have no negative and 3X, I think I would no negative in Brazil and save the 3X for Qatar. Honestly, if you have 3X and autopilot, I think it's closer. I think you would maybe prioritize going for the 3X there, because to be fair, on the 3X, the 2 McLarens look by far the fastest. So just help to decide for tier 3 construct. Oh, dude, there's no good one. They're actually so bad, all of them. I don't trust any of them, to be honest. But maybe it's Haas. Maybe it's the Haas if Behrman drives the entire weekend. Piastri, Norris, Leclerc, Albon, Colapinto, McLaren, Williams, autopilot. Haas is expensive. I think you just go Piastri, Norris, and then Ferrari. Do you think Leclerc is going to outscore Piastri or Norris? I don't think so. And you get all the Leclerc points with Ferrari. So I see no reason why you're running Leclerc over Ferrari in that team, unfortunately, Dvala. Trust me, I'm trying to run a C-tier constructor so badly, but like... Leclerc and then we can get Williams, right? Yeah, Williams is super cheap. It's definitely Williams over Haas, right? Every time. So like, look, I can do the exact same thing, right? Look at this team, and then we just switch this and this to this and this. With Ferrari's constructor, you get Leclerc points and Sainz points, and I don't think Leclerc is going to outscore Lando or Piastri. So I just don't think it's worth it. I'm really trying. What's my best bet if you're using Limitless? Double McLaren, Verstappen for sure. Maybe you go Red Bull on your second. You definitely go triple McLaren. You have to. You definitely get Verstappen because he has a 5-place grid penalty and like he's Verstappen and no one else will have him. So that's I think for drivers, I think you go McLaren, so Norris, Piastri, Verstappen, Leclerc, and Sainz. And then for constructor, you go McLaren, Ferrari, or if you want to be differential, because everyone's running McLaren, Ferrari, you could run McLaren, Red Bull, if you think Perez might climb in the sprint race. Should you triple boost? It depends on what other chips you have. But especially if you have Norris, it looks really strong. The McLaren look pretty untouchable. Ferrari 1-2 again, I like to gamble. The gamble looked better last weekend, and even then I wasn't sure about it. Lando was the fastest car last week. The only reason he didn't win was because Max did Max stuff. I think you listen. Everything I'm saying is obviously generally what I think is going to be the most likely or the best lineup, right? But if I'm sitting here saying, oh, you should buy triple McLaren and you're second in your mini league and the guy on top of you have triple McLaren, don't do that because you're not going to catch him. In that case, you kind of need to rely on like a C-tier DNF from him to catch them. So the main thing to do, and this was my tip of the week last week, in the last deadline stream, was look at the like greater, zoom out. Don't just look at my team. Because I might say, I think Lando Norris is most likely to win. I think Lando Norris is most likely to get the most points. You, if the guy on top of you, if the guy, that sounded weird. If the guy that's on top of your league, in front of you is the word. If the guy in front of you in your league, please stop. Okay, if the guy in front of you in your mini league is 2xing Norris and you need to catch him, you should bet on who you think is the second most likely to win. I think that's Piastri, to be honest. So you probably 2x Piastri at that point. I think I'm just doing this, right? Leclerc to Piastri. I think that's my move. I don't think I'm touching Hamilton from P11, to be honest. The Mercedes don't look strong enough. I think I'm doing Lando plus Piastri, and then the question is whether I do Tsunoda to Albon. I think the honest answer is no. Because Tsunoda's starting 18th and Albon's starting 9th. Like, 9th is not good in a sprint race. I don't see him gaining too many positions. Maybe 1. Maybe 2. In the case he gets 2, that's obviously good. But if he drops any positions there, like, Albon's awful and he's not going to score any points. I think Tsunoda, with the people he's around, can definitely climb like 3-4 positions. He is aggressive on it. Granted, he has DNF'd 3 in the last 4 weekends. 3 in the last 6 weekends. But, I mean, surely that means he's not gonna... I know that's not what the data shows, but I think I might just stick with Tsunoda, to be honest. I don't see the reason going for Albon. Like, if you're on Albon and you can't afford to go off of him, I wouldn't buy Show or Bottas over Albon. Let me be clear. I'm just saying, like, I think Yuki and pretty much all the seaters above Albon are better than Albon this week. Albon from 9th is not that great. You need Albon to realistically get like 7th place because then it's 2 points from the actual sprint and positions gained for him to actually be good. You have both Albon and Tsunoda. I mean, that's fine. I don't think unless you're super rich and you can afford to upgrade Albon, thinking Hulkenberg, you can like Albon and Tsunoda to like Hulkenberg and Show. I can see that being decent, but I honestly think Albon and Tsunoda is better. But I will say like Albon, at least in the sprint, Albon doesn't look great because from P9 That's literally the worst place for him to be, because you need him to get like P7 for it to be worth it. And he has a Hamilton and a Perez behind him that might catch and just overtake. And if he does not overtake Lawson and Gasly, and he's just P10, that's -2 positions gained, maybe an overtake somewhere. But, you know, Albon's getting negative points in the sprint, and then you need him to get a lot of positives in the main race, which he obviously could. He could start P20 in the main race and just charge up the field for a 20-pointer. But I don't think that's super likely. Liam or Yuki? I think Yuki, because Liam's starting P8. Like, what's Liam gonna do from P8? Do you think Liam will hold off Hamilton and Perez in the sprints? I think no. I think best limitless squad. I just discussed it, but it's Lando Norris, Piastri. It's double McLaren, double Ferrari, Max Verstappen, and then you go McLaren plus either Red Bull or Ferrari, depending on if you want to bet on Checo doing some overtakes in the sprint. I think I would go for Red Bull just because it's a differential. So I would go for McLaren, Red Bull, and then you have to go triple McLaren. There's no choice. That is like set in stone. And then you can get a Hamilton in there, maybe over like a Sainz. But I think you should have Max and Red Bull in there because they're differentials. Sonoda and Show over who? I wouldn't buy Show over Albon. No. I think Albon has more potential in the main race than Show has. Granted, Show's starting P20, but like, who's he overtaking? Show is really only getting points if people are DNFing around him. You're going to drop like 50, 60 points from Ferrari to Haas? Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I just don't see it being worth it. Albon or Bottas? Albon, for sure. Bottas is probably the worst C-tier option, period. He's starting P15 in a car that cannot overtake. He's starting P15 in the slowest car. If anything, he's dropping to P19 and giving me a fat -4. I got triple Ferrari from last week and 3 transfers and can't decide this week. I mean, you had triple Ferrari last week, so you should be fine. I think the main priority is get like Norris in, right? You have no negative, and the final fix, 200 points ahead of my rival in my family league, but he is 3x and limitless. Ooh, any tips to keep ahead? Or am I just screwed? I feel like you're kind of cooked, I'm not going to lie. But you definitely no negative in this race. Definitely no negative in this race. And then hope that what you do, Canadori, like, honestly, you no negative, and then you pray for Max Verstappen bowling. That's what you pray for. Literally, like, that's why it's so weird about no negative. If you play your no negative, you want every driver to crash. That would actually be good for you. That is actually how the no negative should be played. If you think every driver will crash and everyone will DNF, no one finishes the race, that's how you win with no negative. Honestly, that's how no negative works. It's such a weird chip, and the negatives are so big in this game. Carnage weekend, yeah. That's what you gotta pray for. And you hope that he plays his 3x or his limitless, and then like Lando Norris and Max Verstappen crashes, and you have your no negative, and you're sitting there like, you know, I didn't get that many points, but you know, at least I got more points than you, sucker. Triple McLaren with Piastri ×2 would be crazy. It would be crazy, but it's not that crazy considering I think that's honestly the second best option. Your best option is like Lando Norris 2x, obviously, but if you're trying to catch a person that's above you, like just try it. Mercedes Piastri or Ferrari Sainz? That's close. I think honestly Mercedes Piastri, because with Mercedes can get some overtakes with Lewis Hamilton in the sprints, and it's not looking like the Ferrari are 1-2ing today or tomorrow or on Sunday. So I think for me personally, I don't think I'm selling Yuki for Albon. I think I'm very likely to just do Piastri in and call it a day, and this will be my team. I can't make any other transfers that way. Colapinto's no longer the cheapest. He's worth it now. Yeah, he's still the second cheapest, and I think he's the best seater asset in the game. Maybe Magnussen is ahead of him, but like obviously Magnussen is not good here. I think Colapinto's literally the must-have assets, because you have to have 3 cheap assets in your team, or 2 if you're mega rich, right? So even if you're going cheapest possible, you're going Valtteri plus Colapinto, and Colapinto is literally, I think Colapinto is the second cheapest, but he's one of the best seaters. And he's also starting like P14 or P15 in the sprint. That's fantastic in a Williams. Triple boost now or save it for Qatar? Like, it depends. If you have no negative, I would consider using your no negative now and saving the 3x for Qatar. But if you only have your 3x, I would probably pop the 3x here, just because McLaren looks so dominant. Gasly worst this Grand Prix? Not the worst, but I mean, it's just the problem with Gasly. He's been so good recently in qualifying, but that car can just not keep up in the race. Yeah, Colapinto's granddad died on like Thursday, I think. Which is really unfortunate. Condolences to Colapinto. No negative or autopilot. If you have both, you use no negative. No negative is so much, like, infinitely more powerful than the autopilot is. You definitely no negative. If I keep Verstappen, I can only get Piastri for Leclerc. Worth it to go Norris and Piastri? Yeah, 100%. I don't like keeping Verstappen at all here. I don't think... If, like, Verstappen is better off crashing into Norris than he is finishing the race in P4. So... he's just gonna bowl, dude. I think I'm autopiloting. Am I autopiloting if I'm running Lando plus Piastri? I don't know. I still have to think about autopilots. That's the only thing I have. I only have left autopilot. Do you think it's better to use here or Vegas or Qatar? Here or in Qatar, probably. I wouldn't use it in Vegas. I would use it in the sprint for sure. Save autopilot for Vegas. I disagree. I think you use it either here or Qatar because there's 2 chances for Max Verstappen bowling. So listen. The reason why I'm talking so much about the autopilot and also the no negative in sprints is like just the chance of your 2x assets DNFing is almost twice as high because they're in another start. And I think especially with someone like Lando Norris that Max Verstappen is very, very keen on crashing into. I think you kind of have to try it in a sprint weekend. For triple boost, Lando 3x and Oscar 2x, yeah, for sure. I don't think you bet on that. I think you bet. I just take the safe bet on Lando. Let's end the poll. If the McLaren boys are 1-2 with Piastri ahead, with 2 laps to go in the sprints, will they swap them? 80% of you think yes. Oof. Is a -10 Leclerc for Piastri worth it? Probably not. Should I change Mercedes to Haas? No. I trust me, Lucas. I am trying to find a good C-tier constructor. It's not possible. I just don't see it ever happening. Theoretically, it is possible that it could be good in a... let's just look through the season, right? We're looking for the top 4, right? Ferrari, McLaren, Mercedes, Red Bull, all right? Bahrain, top 4. Saudi, top 4. Australia, top 4. And also keep in mind, look at the difference in points, right? Japan, Mercedes did not outscore Aston Martin. Wow. China, top 4. US, not top 4, but that was because Mercedes stunk the place out. Italy, top 4. Monaco, again, but this is because Checo crashed, right? Red Bull stunk the place out. This is because Ferrari stunk the place out. Double DNF, right? But top 4. 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 Oh, Williams was actually better in Azerbaijan. That's interesting. That's because Checo crashed. Top 4. Top 4. Top 4. So every time that there hasn't been a top 4 apart, like that the top 4 aren't top 4, the only time that it hasn't been because of a DNF is like Mercedes in Japan. Literally, like, when else? Oh, here as well. But that's because Yuki Tsunoda had his god weekend in here, yeah. So it's Mercedes twice at the start of the season that is ruining the run. Other than that, it's all DNFs that is ruining the runs. And like the difference in points, like especially like look at Mexico. Look at the US. Look at the drop here. I just don't see it. Top 4 is a 5 to 6 pointer. Yeah, but you're also running McLaren or Ferrari. Like you're not running Red Bull, right? Look at where Ferrari and McLaren are. Look at where the top are. Look at where the top 2 are in terms of points and VCarb. Look at these. Look at this, right? Look at these. Look at this. It's like 40 points every time. And also, like, since Zandvoort, McLaren, Ferrari had a crash here, remember? They are literally on the same points as the Mercedes, and then there's a big drop off to VCarb. Ferrari, McLaren. And the point drop off is massive. Listen, you are trying, Dvala, and I respect it. But I've tried this entire season. I have like 4 videos on my channel where I'm trying to fit a C-tier constructor in, and I've not seen the mathematical proof that it's worth it once. I've tried. I've been the one content creator to try and be on your side, but I've just not found it, unfortunately. Like, trust me, I'm trying. Trust me, I'm trying to see the line, but I think it's objectively been incorrect all season. And the few times, like, it's been those like fastest lap points, right? And here in I don't know. I think if you need a C-tier constructor, like I okay, here. Wait, let me show you. There's just never. Let's compare what's actually different here, right? You get Williams in there. Agree? And you get Charles Leclerc. But let's actually look at what Charles Leclerc does compared to Ferrari. Okay? Leclerc, 35. Leclerc, 55, but he won everything, right? Leclerc, 21. Leclerc, 28. And you can see he has an average score of 26.9 points. Let's use that. And let's check Ferrari's. 58.3. That is a big chunk of points. Like, that's a whole 30-point difference. 32 points on average more that Ferrari scores. Whereas if you look at Williams' average score, and I know they've had a lot of DNFs, so it's really low because they had Logan Sargent earlier, compared to Albon, who's also, to be fair, had a lot of DNFs. So like Albon has had what, 5 DNFs, and he has an average score of 0.3 points, and like Williams on 5.2. Even if you remove a couple of DNFs from Logan Sargent here, because it's Colapinto now, and even if you look like relatively recently, like say we take the even taking this best case scenario in Azerbaijan, 31 points. On that time, Albon scored 12. That's 20 points. So you're still losing out on 10 points. Does that make sense? Because Leclerc is losing 30 points on Ferrari, and Albon's losing 20 points on Williams in the best case scenario. And you can't expect this to happen again in Brazil. It's more likely to be, like, let's look at Kota. I think Kota's a good example. 19 points for Williams. That's a decent weekend. Like, they're just behind Haas and VCarb, right? 19 points. Albon got a cool 9-pointer. That's 10 points difference. Look at Leclerc. Now again, Leclerc Giga won here, 55 points. But even then, 97 points from Ferrari. That's what? 42 points? it just doesn't mathematically ever make sense, and I'm really trying, man. I'm sorry, I'm really trying. I think you have to find the perfect place. You actually have V-Carb in the USA. Which one? You have to find the perfect place, but there is none. There is not a good place. Like in Brazil, who is scoring highly out of the seaters? None. Points is that by Autopilot in the US you got 2x with Leclerc instead of Norris 2x. Sure, I respect that, but like if I used 2x every week, I would be first in the world. So you can, at the same time as you're telling me to not look at the average, but you can't look at the best case scenario either. Because Leclerc's 55 pointer is the second highest is the third highest score we've had all year. Norris had a 56 pointer in Zandvoort, and then Verstappen had a 58 pointer here. It's literally the third highest score all year. So I don't. You can try it, man, and I respect you for trying it, but I think you're gonna lose out points. I'm just saying what I think, and I've really been trying to look at the positives here. Hospice 3 beater, yeah, but I can you afford Hospice 3 beater? I can't. Haas is 12 million. I think it's the best way to use Autopilot. I disagree. It's only you can get a banger 2x. Yeah. But again, this is if Leclerc wins, and I don't think Leclerc is winning. So why would I bet on that? I think. My foot. Oh, my foot fell asleep. That's so painful. Oh, why am I sitting on my foot? I'm so stupid. Oof. Anyway, Paris P1. Missprint qualifying. We're going triple McLaren. I'm going triple McLaren. I'm definitely doing Leclerc to Oscar. That's not Oscar. This is Oscar. And then I haven't decided if I'm using the Autopilot or not. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, McLaren just looks so good here that I don't see the point in bringing in Leclerc. In Kota, it was a different story because if you had Leclerc, the 2x looks really strong because McLaren looked equally fast to Ferrari. I just ended up going with Piastri there because Piastri did poorly in the qualifying, and then it turned out that Ferrari were just super fast. Yeah, exactly. I agree with Pokemaniac. Piastri, Sainz, Russell dropped down to Norris, Piastri only. I would go Norris, Piastri only. I think Norris. And again, I'm saying that, but if the guy you're chasing in your mini league, I've said this before, if you're chasing someone in your mini league, and that person's running Lando Norris, I think running Piastri, Sainz, Russell could be a really good differential by 2xing Piastri and hoping that he wins and that Verstappen crashes into Norris. Because if you don't have Norris and put the 2x on Piastri and then Norris crashes, everyone's going to have Norris, means you're going to shoot up in rank. But it's obviously a risk. You're basically betting on Lando Norris DNFing. And some people like playing that way, and I think that's perfectly fine. I just think the most likely outcome is that Norris does not. I think Norris is the most likely driver to win the Grand Prix on Sunday. I think the odds just agree with me on that. But if you want to bet against the odds to make more money, like that's how betting works. Like this is a way of gambling, in a sense, right? Because when you're betting on sports, you bet on the high odds to earn more money, but it's less likely to come through. And this is the same thing. If you want to bet against Lando Norris, you have the opportunity to really climb in rank because a lot of people are going to bet on Lando Norris. But for my position where I'm at, I'm just trying to look at a good overall rank and keep my position at the top of my personal mini league. So I'm sticking with Lando Norris, and I'm probably getting Piastri and running double McLaren. Good to use 3x, right? Yes, it looks pretty good to use 3x, considering the McLaren looks really fast. Going Leclerc to Piastri, which allows budget from show to album, seems like the clear move. That's definitely a clear move for you. That looks fun. That looks fantastic. Even though Albon doesn't look great, but Albon could look great on Sunday after a different qualifying. I think in the sprint, Albon looks pretty poor in terms of point potential, just because of where he's starting. You really need him to get like P7 to actually do good things. Just trying to use my budget to climb as high as possible in global now, sitting top 400. That's really good. Honestly, like with your budget, Christian, I don't hate running Piastri, Sainz, Russell, because like realistically, if you bet against Norris, yeah, you're probably gonna drop in rank, right? Norris win. Say Norris does a Sandvort and gets 56 points and destroys everyone, right? And you don't have him. Yes, you're gonna drop to like 2K. That's just the reality. But if you go for Piastri, Sainz, Russell, and then Norris crashes, or rather Max Verstappen drives into his gearbox, you can actually like gain a lot and maybe even get top 100. So minus 10 Leclerc to Piastri, but I use 3x Norris, 2x Piastri. I wouldn't risk it. I think the minus 10 is hard to sell. You're essentially, but if Piastri's P2 and Leclerc's P3, you do gain on it. So if you're 3xing them, maybe, but you really need that McLaren 1-2 then. You really need that McLaren 1-2. All right. In terms of chips, I think every chip is super powerful. If you have chips remaining, you should probably look to use them. I only have my Autopilot left, and I haven't decided if I want to use that when I have Lando plus Piastri, because I do think Lando will outscore Piastri in the end. But then again, Max Verstappen can always drive into Lando's gearbox, but he could also do that in the next race, or in the next race, or in the next race. So in that sense, like the Autopilot, I just have to bet which race is Max Verstappen going to ram it into the back of Norris's car. So I haven't decided yet. I think I won't use the. It depends on the rain as well. I'm kind of like 60-40 on using the Autopilot, but I think every chip should be considered, especially no negative, especially 3x, especially limitless. But obviously I will sleep on this decision. Tomorrow I'm gonna upload this or put out the stream as soon as I log offline, so you can see it on my channel. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Please like this stream. It means a ton. If you haven't followed me on Twitter, all my social media is down in the description. And I will see you tomorrow. I'm going to end the stream now. I apologize. And I will answer all questions before the deadline tomorrow. So 2 hours before the sprint race, I'm doing the deadline stream. I will be back live here. Drop into the channel, drop into the chat, and ask your questions then. Once we have some simulations from F1 Fantasy Tools, we'll be looking at that. Tip of the week. We're going to do C-tier tier lists. We're going to do A-tier tier lists. We're going to talk about, maybe talk about more C-tier constructors. I don't know. We're going to talk about all the chips, which are the best, yada, yada. So all that good stuff. I will see you tomorrow, 2 hours before the deadline. So in 16 hours, I will be live. I will see you then. For now, goodbye and good night.